everyone, welcome to the Piney Podcast. I'm Tony D, and as always, Little Joan is by my side. Let's get into it. Lots to cover today. I mean, it's another big day. Piney's 372 new cases of the beer virus, 9 more deaths, rate of transmission ticks down again. His imaginary number of tyrant Governor Phil Murphy continues to go down. What excuse will he have next to keep us all inside? Let's find out. Let's see if he... Oh, it's down to 0.78. Nope, 0.77. I don't know what that means. Apparently only 3/4 of a person gets infected if somebody else gets the virus. It makes no sense, of course, with the numbers of cases going up and down and up and down, but generally going down. But, you know, whatever. He's got numbers, and he could point to them. Apparently it's finally allowed him to start opening things up. Somewhat, kinda, not really. Who knows if the deaths actually happened today? Let's see. I don't see anything here about... Yeah, it's just more of the same. More of the same stuff. And Governor Murphy announces a new child care initiative from Beer Virus Relief Fund to support working families. Because what working families need is more handouts from their own money. Governor Murphy announces child care initiative from Beer Virus Relief to support working families. With the school year starting in New Jersey amid the ongoing beer virus pandemic, Governor Phil Murphy announced that he plans to dedicate $250 million in funding from the Federal Beer Virus Relief Fund, which will provide additional support to children and their families as well as for thousands of child care providers with resources. These plans, highlighted in the governor's 2021 revised budget proposal, as part of the state's spending plan for the $2.39 billion federal beer virus relief fund. So, in other words, our federal taxes are being funneled back to us in order to help people, sorta, kinda. Of course, if they had just allowed us to keep this money all along, these families may not have needed it. Just a thought. But once again, these guys want credit for giving back our own tax money. It's, you know. The Department of Human Services will now provide state child care subsidies for child care during the school day for school-aged children aged 5 to 13 years old, for the end of calendar year 2020. We'll also create another $150 million program to provide child care support to New Jersey families who are not eligible for state child care subsidy program, but who are in need of full or part-time child care due to their school's remote learning schedule. You know, I guess. I mean, who the hell knows? You know, the way he spends money, and he just asked for a $9 billion loan, like... just pissing away money on stuff, man. That's all this is. It's our money being just spent by him. You know, the mere act of collecting the taxes and then distributing them back out cost money. It costs money to do that. It costs money to collect taxes. It costs money to send them back out. It's not free. This is why it's so frustrating to see these guys stand up and say, "Ooh, I'm giving you money." It's not free money. It's never free money from the government. The government has no money. The only government money they have is money they either got from us or borrowed. And he's already borrowing more money. So, I mean, do you need to have your child care subsidized for part of the year? I mean, Lord knows what the paperwork is to get, what do we got left? September, October, November, December. For 4 months of child care subsidies. They're not paying for it all. It's some sort of subsidy. So you're going to have to fill out all this paperwork and get approved and whatever. And then I guess you get some money at some point. But it's the government. It's not like they're going to You're going to fill out the thing online and get it a week later. I mean, and what if you run out of this fund? I mean, they got millions of people out of work, and they couldn't handle things on the unemployment website that kept crashing, and I've heard nothing but people like horror stories of the site, and that I used to be able to talk to the unemployment office. Oh, forget that. Yeah, I don't know. How about not collecting taxes? I mean, that could save people a lot of money. Not collecting the taxes instead of giving us back our own money. Just say no taxes this year. How about that? How about no taxes this year? Oh, but you need the money because you don't know how to spend money. We're not getting any money back from you closing the schools. Like, why not give us a rebate? Why not just, okay, maybe not the whole year. Just kill like the middle 2 quarters, right? Say, okay, no property taxes for the middle 2 years or whatever. Or 2 months, two quarters, which would be like from April, May, June, and then the summer, July, August, September. Those 2 quarters, free. Everybody gets that back, don't have to pay. That would save people a lot of money. Just saying. But, we do it this way. See, it's this whole list of things you got to fill out, and you fill it out wrong, and then it gets messed up in the mail, and it's just, I mean, anybody who's ever filled this out, some people won't even fill this stuff out because it's boring, and they don't like to do this. I swear to God. I've talked to people like that. Remember the homestead rebate? Like, I told somebody about that one time, and he went, I don't like to fill out paperwork. It's boring. I'm like, dude, they're giving out free money, and you don't want it? It wasn't free money, but you know what I'm saying. He's like, I don't want to fill out the paperwork. I even offered. I said, I'll fill it out for you. I'll split the money with you. He said, no. But what are you gonna do? By the way, New Jersey's gas tax to increase due to beer virus crisis, according to officials. So now we're gonna have to pay 10 cents a gallon more for gas because Murphy had to hire 1,500 contact tracers and wants to hire 1,500 more. That's why we're paying this. Oh, yeah. I'm sure he'll remove the tax when this is all over. Yeah, right. Like he removed all the other taxes that we suddenly didn't need. Like he removed the property taxes. Like he lowered them because we're paying thousands upon thousands of dollars for schools that we are sort of halfway using. Okay. Well, we'll get back to that. Watch out for the thunderstorms today. Big thunderstorms, gusty winds, the whole nine. So watch out, South Jersey. It always floods down here. So watch yourself driving. Memorial plans for 9/11 are getting together, and be careful at these things. With all the protests going on, you may expect some protest. I don't know. We had some problems in the past with this kind of stuff, which is why Antifa got flagged as a terrorist organization in New Jersey. I believe it was a 9/11 celebration or something like that. So there's stuff going on. You can check it out at the Press of Atlantic City. All in South Jersey, mostly like parades, Veterans Day kind of stuff, flying the flag, that kind of thing. But again, watch yourself, especially if the protesters come, because those protesters got to be out of their mind to protest this, and they'll probably be super angry. And speaking of terrible things, first West Nile virus mosquito of 2020 detected in New Jersey, so watch out for that as well. Watch out for everything, South Jersey. And finally, Jeff Van Drew spoke at the RNC, and I watched that. I specifically watched his entire speech. It was good. Totally solid. He talked about how he left the Democratic Party and moved to the Republicans because, he's a moderate Democrat. There he is there. He's a moderate Democrat. He has no interest in all this socialism and nonsense. And he would have stayed a Democrat, too, if hadn't been for this hard left turn of the DNC. And it's a hard left turn. A lot of people don't believe it. A lot of people I know who are still Democrats, they're like, oh, it's exaggerated. Yeah, we just want some medical care and a few things. I'm like, you don't understand who's driving this. The people driving this are hard left people. They want free college. They want free health care. They want UBI. It never ends. And they don't have any plans for paying for it. They can't figure out the math. They don't care about the math. They are terrible at economics already. Most Democrats are awful at economics. They're just terrible. Most of them aren't business people. They tend to be more lawyer types and career politician types. They don't run businesses. If you run a business, you understand how taxes work, how economics works, how the market works a little bit, at least in your industry, and you understand that. Hey, I don't want to pay any more taxes. I'm trying to make my business work. The taxes are preventing that. That it slows me down. It's a hindrance. More taxes are bad. But a lot of Democrats have just embraced this idea. No, 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 no. You don't understand. We can pay for it. The government can take care of you. We can distribute money and make everything great. And when it doesn't work, they don't say, "Oh, that didn't work." They say, "Well, obviously it's not enough money." That's always the answer. Oh, more money. See, welfare didn't work. Oh, well, obviously we didn't give them enough money. Like, that's the level of economic understanding. It's just spend, spend, spend. And you have to get the money from somewhere. So you're just taking it from productive people and giving it to people who, now look, there are people who need help. I'm not denying that. I'm not a heartless person. We libertarians, we often get accused of that. Oh, you're just heartless. You hate the poor. No, but we think that it doesn't help the poor to hand them a government check. It doesn't. It doesn't, because it makes people dependent after a while. They get used to it. People who go on welfare, they can simply lower their lifestyle and lower their overhead to the point to make welfare work for them. I'm one of those people who could do that. I want to sit at home and write my books. And if I lower my overhead just enough and stay on welfare, I could do that. I could just sit at home and write my books, and I'd be happy as a clam, just squeaking by. There are a lot of people who just like to squeak by. There are. But there's a danger in that. And once you're trapped in doing that, it makes you dependent. And if something goes wrong, or you have an emergency, it's not the way to live forever. There are temporary measures that we can discuss and get behind, but this idea that every poor person, they fell on hard times, it's simply not true. Some people are just, oh, you're going to give me that money? You're going to feed me? Great. I don't have to work. And then they never do. They go and sit in a bar all day. They do. And look, if that's what you want to do, first off, I think you got problems. But if that's what you want to do, you have the freedom to do that. It's like working with homeless people. Tim Pool talks about this. He worked with the homeless, and there are homeless people that after a point, they get so used to living on the street, they don't want to go back to living in a place. Even if you give them a place, they won't live there. So it's a policy that can't work. Like, you can help charities, you can make it so that the productive people are so productive and wealthy that mostly the other people will be taken care of by charity, or that things become so cheap that the charity can cover it and that most people can cover it, and then the people who just want to sit around and write books all day and not make any money, we could just squeak by. But it doesn't help to keep funneling money out of people's pockets and into these government programs. There's always corruption and graft. It doesn't matter who's in charge. Always somebody looking to, scam the government out of money. I've heard about so many scams over the years. So it's just, It's just not a good idea to give your money to the government. So Van Drew is an important figure in this upcoming election. If the Democrats defeat him and replace him with Amy Kennedy, who they're really pushing hard, then they can say, aha, we punished you. Anybody who tries to become Republican, we will punish them and ruin their careers and kick them out of office. However, if Van Drew stays and weathers it, it's a message to the Democrats, you've become too extreme. And now you have people leaving the party, and people still support them because they're the moderates and you're the problem. That's the message we want to send the Democratic Party. I would like to see the Democratic Party come back to the brink, come back to the moderate center where they belong, and define their limits and kick out these extreme leftists. But that's not going to happen unless you punish them. So it's very important that Jeff Van Drew win in 2020. Very important. Trump winning, that's also important. But for South Jersey, Jeff Van Drew would send a strong message to New Jersey, a very blue state. Don't go extreme left, Democrats, or you will be kicked out of office. And hopefully they'd get the message. All right, we got a million things to cover today. That's it from the Piney Podcast. My name's Tony D. This is Little Joan. Check out my books. The links are in the description. And we will see you next time.